Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of ArmTalk. Of course, you'll know me. I'm your host, Jody Williams. And my guest today she's been on my show before, but you know what, though? Because we're good friends, I want to have her on one more time. Everybody, welcome Sarah Collins-McKinney. Sarah, how you doing today?
I am good. How are you, Jody?
I'm doing good. Happy New Year to you, by the way.
Happy New Year.
Thank you. And speaking of the new year, and now this is the first episode of Arm Talk in 2023, by the way. So I thought I'd go ahead and put that out there. So
Wasn't I the first one last year, too?
I think so. There's a theme. There's a theme. But before we get into 2023, let's go ahead and put a bow tie on 2022 for you. So what was 2022 like for you personally before we get into other topics?
2022 was a lot of fun. Had its ups and downs. I feel like I made, some good strides with promoting women's arm wrestling, getting better myself, ramping up my training. I've kind of ended 2022 just kind of taking a break and relaxing and trying to get back in the gym as we speak, but I've been lazy lately.
It's okay because you know why? Because, hey, it's the holiday. This is, where we kind of say, okay, for some of us, let's take a break. We got family, we got the holidays. It's time to go ahead and do that before we turn the page, just hit the ground running, right?
Right.
All
Yes.
right. And by the way, ladies arm wrestling. And, I've been talking to some of the ladies in our sport. And one of the questions was from Megan Blake, how do we get more women involved in our sport? That's the age-old question. I'm sure you've asked that question's been asked to you multiple times. And before I give you my opinion, what do you think we need to do to get more ladies in our sport?
So I did a poll. I don't remember which year it was, but I did a poll kind of figure out what women's arm wrestling needed, what the ladies wanted, did statistics over the weight classes to try to get fair weight classes. I think we need ladies to show up. I think we need ladies to show up. We need other ladies helping other ladies get into the sport. So a lady that's training with these new and up and coming pullers, which by the way, Annie Fuller is a great one to train with. I think she was on your show last week.
Yes.
But by doing that poll, I kind of, for the all ladies event, they wanted their own stage. It was provided. More payouts, highest payout, fair weight classes. Now, there's a little controversy about there not being a 125 weight class. And it will be added when the turnout for that class is there. I will 100% add it. Custom awards, it's been done. So
right.
We're so spread apart. It's so hard to get everybody together at one event.
And I think what you said, because you and I had talked about this before. Actually, we kind of chatted last week. And bottom line is, first of all, they got to show up. They, as in all you ladies out there, you got to show up. To want this and want that, want the other, you got to show up. I mean, let's be honest, because, and as people are coming in the chat, like Dark Armor, we got Cody Merritt, Annie's in the house, Paul Stevens, Ryan. Here's the thing. What Bob Brown did back at the Brazilian Cup back in November, and there was 20 ladies there?
About 20 ladies, yeah.
Yeah, about 20 ladies there. And the thing is, though, is that I saw that was going, you know what? We can grab those 20, right? And then have them come to your event, plus the ones that didn't make it. You see what I'm saying? And just do something like that. I know it's promote, but you know what, though? I mean, the only way we can get this thing off the ground is that we got to help each other. So going back to my earlier question, to Megan, and I answered her and I said, you know what? Well, I got a podcast. I can, invite y'all on there, give y'all the stage, help promote these events. Because I think when we all saw, the core sports event, the King of the Table, and we saw Sarah Bachman and we saw Gabby, they run it. It was the first time they pulled since the WAL. What was your initial reaction as far as the build-up head into that match?
I was very excited to see what kind of comeback Sarah was going to make from that, what kind of adjustments that she made. It'd been a long time since we've seen those two athletes pull, so the build-up was very, very, very exciting. I felt personally, I did think Gabby had, the upper hand. I think Sarah had taken some time off and Gabby kept training. So, and then Gabby ended up winning that. But I don't think anybody can count Sarah out. I think she'll eventually make a comeback and may end up get Gabby.
Right.
I think I'm getting a cold, so I apologize.
Well, I'll tell you what, not only that, but that was an exciting match. And then, we'll put in like Tim Thomas, for example. So you go to his events, Arm Sports Entertainment, then guess what? Now all of a sudden, ladies are pulling for free. There's a start. There's a start. So there's that. I can go ahead. Hey, here's my part. Here's my show. I give y'all the limelight. We could do something like that. That'd be awesome. You know what I mean?
Hey, I am all about it, but we got to figure out a way to get us all together like we did at Bob Brown's event, like we did
Right.
at ladies event, like more of us getting together, maybe coordinating better and saying, hey, let's all plan to make this one event or multiple events. But I know that it gets difficult for the ladies. You and I have talked a little bit about like, the spouses or the boyfriends or,
Mm-hmm.
supporting the women, watching the kids while the women go and compete. So it's a lot of moving parts, but I think we'll get there.
Yeah. Well, and your event is in April.
April 22nd.
Okay. So April 22nd. We're out in Texas.
It'll be the same place as last year, Richardson, Texas, the Northside Draft House and Eatery. It's on the UTD Dallas campus.
Right.
Don't know the
Yeah.
address of my head, but it'll be at the exact same place.
And this will be the third installment, yes?
Third event, yes.
So take us back to the first two events and how they progressed. So that way you can, okay, Act 3 coming up, April. Act 3 coming up. Tell us about that.
So the first one was just kind of like hey, I'm going to throw an event. Didn't know what I was doing, had no idea. Just it was an idea, and I wanted to see how it went. And it went well. The sponsors came through. We had some awards, learned a lot, and made some adjustments. Figured out, hey, maybe move it to Dallas. Maybe we had it in San Antonio. My idea was to go San Antonio, Dallas, Houston.
Right.
But it's hard for me to coordinate things being in Dallas and doing it in San Antonio, and I don't have the same connections to sponsors. So that
Gotcha.
I moved it back to Dallas. I realized how much of the sponsorships and what I was able to do for the ladies. So that's why I decided to keep it in Dallas. So year 2, very, very well. Had a lot more ladies show up that go around. So it's progressing and been improving each time. And you know what they say, third time's a charm, right?
Yes. And I say that because now you have, I've seen an influx of ladies in, I mean, look at Utah, right? I mean, they got an influx of ladies. We all know the Michelle Smarts, right? The Jolene Andersons, but now you got more. You got Megan Blake there. I mean, it's just, it keeps going. And now that we got, when I had Bridget on the show with Sarah Latona and Annie last weekend, it was like, okay, well, I never knew Bridget was a puller 4 years ago, right? I didn't know Megan Blake was an arm wrestler 4 years ago. So now we got more, ladies involved. Let's go ahead and make this thing happen. So, I'll do everything I can on my end, to make sure that we get this thing off the ground. You know what I mean?
Right. You've always supported us. We appreciate your support very much, Jody.
Well, thank you. I mean, I'm a fan of the sport. And the more, this will be year number 13 for me, being in the sport. So, in doing this, I've made lifelong friends. And some of these tournaments, you got to give love to everybody. And this goes back to, I know we're kind of talking about the ladies event, but what I'm going to say intertwines with what you're doing. So when you have these big organizations right now, King of the Table, East First West, Arm Wars, Arm Gods, Monster Factory, on top of all the other tournaments that we've been doing for years and years and years, there's always something for somebody. You know what I mean? So my question to you is that, do you plan on, or what do you think it would take to get a lot of ladies to your event? Would that mean, hey, a super match between this person and that person, and then find out what goes on? What do you think?
Honestly, I think it's those that want to pull are going to show up. I mean, I don't know what more I can offer as a promoter with there being
Mhm.
$500 first place payouts. Obviously, if I get all the sponsorships, second place and third place, that's my goal to get those paid out. Platform just for the ladies, custom awards. I don't really know how a super match is going to bring in more ladies, to be honest with you. I think a lot's being provided at the all ladies event. We just need the ladies to show up and pull, show up and pull.
Yeah, and here's Annie's comment. New newbies come out of everywhere, which is good. It's not a bad thing. That is not a bad thing. Here's a question, because at Bob Brown's Brazilian Cup, who was the draw for the ladies? Who was there?
Who is the what?
Who was the big name that drew all the ladies there? Who was it?
Gabby.
Exactly. So would it take somebody like that to come to your event? Not saying you have to go reach out to her, but I'm just, just speaking. Let's just say it was how about if you got a Jolene Anderson versus Angie Rose to highlight your event, how many would show up, right?
Get that. So then let me ask you this, and I can ask whoever's watching and any other ladies that are watching. As a promoter, my goal is to get the ladies paid the most, like the highest paid, first place, second place, third place. But
Right.
athletes, 9 times out of 10, they're going to want their travel paid or, something, some type of payment. My goal in all of this has been to make sure first, second, and third place have been paid out. Would the
Yes.
rather that continue to happen or to pull money from the sponsorships that I'm getting to make a very big super match like that, but cut the payouts down?
Right.
You know what I mean? I don't know if I can pull enough sponsors to be able to do both, because we all know sponsorships can go up and down.
They can go up, and then like 15 days later, the bottom drops out. I've been there before, and it's horrible. Or how about this? How about maybe the if you know those headliners don't need, say, hey, don't worry about it. I want to come help support to help uplift this event. Then all of a sudden, that might, make better for the promoter, right? Which in this case would be you.
Hey, and if that's something they want to do, I'm all about it. Right now, the ladies are still growing.
Mhm.
Third event, obviously, this isn't a money making event. This is not something I'm doing to profit off of. I truly 100% want to build the ladies, grow it, and get it as big as possible. But I'm just not at the point of being able to pay and bring in these major athletes for super matches, because I truly want those payouts to stay where they're at until I get sponsorships. And it'll get there. It's just taking time.
Yeah, and you know what? This is something that's not going to happen overnight. Okay,
Right?
this is something where we want to say, okay, you know what? All the ladies, wouldn't it be cool if they all got together in one boardroom or one big group chat and say, hey, ladies, if we want this thing to get off the ground, we're going to have to, take a big step forward, which means, you know what? We're not there yet as far as big money payouts. We're not there yet. How do we get there? You got start from the ground, work your way up, that kind of deal. I mean, and chiming in, there's Sarah. So Sarah, from one Sarah to another, Sarah Latona says hi, Sarah.
Hi, Sarah.
And there's a lot of Sarahs in our sport. In
Our
case you,
right, though.
what's that?
Sarah and I spell our names correctly, though.
Right, there's that one. I mean, there's so many Sarahs in the sport. I think I made a comment about that last week. But I mean, think about it. I mean, now you still got some of the ladies who cross sports in our thing, right? So we all talk about some of the powerlifting guys that cross over into our sport. Well, guess what? That's the same thing for the ladies too, because you got Stephanie Spencer, power lifter, crossing over to our sport. You got Elizabeth. How you pronounce her last name?
Mossick?
Yes, crossing over into our sport. You got Danielle Everson crossing over into our sport. And all that does is put more eyes on you ladies over there. I'm telling you, because let's be real, I mean, Danielle has a big following, right? Elizabeth might, I mean, I'm not sure. I mean, I'm imagine she has a big following. So when you have those kind of ladies crossing over into our sport, it gets more eyes into the sport, I mean, do you agree or disagree?
I agree.
You know?
that come from the powerlifting background have a lot of potential in arm wrestling.
And those kind of make matchups because, hey, you got somebody who's been in the arm wrestling sport for, let's just say, for an example, 6, 7, 8 years. And then let's just say there's a match set up between this lady and then this lady coming over from strong man or powerlifting, whatever. And they got just brute raw strength. And they're coming over and they got 6, 7, 8 years in their sport. And they come to meet in this one tournament right here. And guess what? Now it's like, well, who wins? It's a cat and mouse game. That's when the chess comes into play. That's what makes matches. Is it technician? Is it the raw strength power? Who knows? There's only one way to find out. So, what do you think about something like that?
I love it. I love the idea of it. I think it'd be a great match. And I welcome any new pullers into the sport. I like to see more of them come into the sport. And typically when you get someone with that strong and that strong background, they learn the technique side of things. I'm sorry, hold on. They make really good arm wrestlers. I think there is I forget her name. I want to say it's Alicia. They call her Jags on Instagram, but she's I believe New York, Pennsylvania, that area. But she's very, very strong. Still growing in the sport. And I think she's going to make a really, really great arm wrestler once she gets everything down.
Right. And look at Sarah Latona. She was a dancer and then transitioned to our sport, and then, and let's be real, because look at the Monster Factory. And we'll use that as an example because some of the best matches, look at Danielle Everson and Leon Wilson. They had a match last year on the Monster Factory. Sarah Latona had a match last month on the Monster Factory. And Rebecca Todd's, first match back, I don't know how long, and I'm assured, and Sarah, you can, Latona, you can go ahead and correct me on this. They're going to have a Monster Factory Ladies Champion. So right now, that's another avenue you can go on to try to get this thing going on. How do you feel about something like that? It's just every option, you can't go wrong,
Anybody that's supporting the ladies, I think is going to be beneficial and helpful, and I 100% support it. I think it'd be great to have that at the Monster Factory. They're doing great things for the sport.
Yeah, and and when you have nowadays with the social media, right? It is what it is. It's all about social media. So this is where we got to go. Hey, you know what? Let's chime in. Ladies out there, if you're wanting to hop on this, by all means, let me know. I can go ahead and make this happen for y'all. You just let me know. And chime in, because we can make this a conference call if you want to. So, but yeah, I'm excited to point where, what else you got planned for 2023?
My main focus will be next month. We've got East versus West qualifier in Houston. I've got to go down there and help with that. I have not decided if I'm going to pull that event or not.
Right.
And then obviously get ready for the ladies event. I've got to get off my lazy butt and start working on the sponsorships and, really getting that nailed down, and basically get back in the gym and try to hit every event that I can. I'm mostly at the TAL events. So usually after our Texas State is when I try to hit the out-of-state events. And that's kind of my goal, is to, I forget that hit Keystone this year.
Right.
That's the event that I want to go to this year.
There's nothing wrong with that, because I heard, and is that February, or when is that?
I do not know, honestly. I have not looked at any of the schedules this year to see when the events are, but that's a major event that I want to hit this year.
Okay. I got you on that. What about a national, because you went to nationals last year, right?
I did.
And how'd you do?
I won nationals.
National champion. Something I do not have right now. So yes, right now you are superior than me.
I am not.
In conversations, you have a national title, something I do not have. So by law of theory, you are more superior than me. That's how it goes down. But worlds, Do you ever think about going to Worlds one day? Because this year it'll be in Malaysia, if I'm not mistaken, in September.
Yes, I definitely want to compete at Worlds, whether it's this year, next year. I've recently transitioned jobs, so
Mhm.
kind of up in the air as far as like traveling out of the country, what I can do this year. It may even be next year before I've got everything nailed down with this new job to where I can actually do that. I don't know yet. Things are still a little rocky.
Right. And there's nothing, wrong with that. It happens. Life gets in the way. And sometimes you gotta find that happy me, you gotta find that balance, right? Like,
Yeah,
okay, if I'm gonna go to this, I'm putting all my eggs in one basket. I gotta make sure, okay, to make this happen, I gotta have the time, I gotta have the training, I gotta make sure I have enough funds put away to make stuff happen. I mean, we all know that. And the one thing that us guys don't have to worry about that you ladies do, if you have kids, you got to find a babysitter. And I think guys don't really think about that necessarily as much. So it makes it more difficult for y'all to kind of compete. You know what I mean?
babysitter, a dog sitter, a house. It's for travel. It takes a lot. So
all,
not
all the above, right? All the above, right?
all of the above. Yes.
So now that we're like 21 minutes in, let's go ahead and talk about, if you can, what the announcement could be, maybe. Fingers crossed. I'm gonna let you take the stage. You go ahead and do it.
So I watched a video of you and Ryan Espy and Simon.
I gotta widen my screen for this one because it's a big deal. So I gotta widen my screen.
About the IFA and WAF, right? And I wasn't clear on the rules, like if you compete it here, and neither here nor there, that doesn't matter. So I reach out to Simon to kind of ask about that, right? Am I banned? Am I not? Like, either way. Well, in conversation, it come up about making the all ladies event a WAF qualifier to Worlds.
Right.
Fantastic idea. Obviously, there's a lot of things that need to get worked out, a lot of decisions that need to be made, and this is something that just is in conversation right now. But the biggest thing that had come up at my all ladies event the last 2 years, there hasn't been testing. Like it's not something that's done. Obviously, the funding's not there to do it. But if it did become a WAF qualifier, they would be testing athletes. So I was throwing around those ideas kind of to see where the athletes feel about that. When I started the all ladies event, I wanted it to be a place that all ladies could come and arm wrestle. So I wanted to make sure and get feedback to see how they felt about it. But I think it would be a huge opportunity for the ladies to be able to possibly compete on a world stage.
Right.
And you've heard me,
Well,
that's one of the best places, the most competitive places to go and arm wrestle is WAF.
yes. Annie, I just sent you a link. Feel free to jump in here if you want to. So now, with that being said, that's huge news, right? That's huge news. And one has to wonder, okay, let's just say everything's a go, right? Ladies come. Now, do they have to just show up and they qualify, or do they have to place top three and they qualify? How does that work?
So all of those details would be worked out. It would obviously be like the same one for WAF Nationals that's going on in Kansas City. The same rules and everything would apply. Weight classes would not change. There'd be a few minor hiccups if like somebody at 154 placed at this event and then the 150 placed at mine. They kind of have to decide, are you going to 143 or 160 or however the weight classes work at WAF.
Right.
Cross those bridges when that happened. But for the most part, the ladies' event, everything would stay the same with the exception of the testing.
Well, I mean, that shouldn't be an issue, right?
I don't see why it'd be an issue.
Because I look at it like this: you do that, and it's just like if you're going to Worlds anyway. However, I will say this though: you also mentioned that you're going to involve some Canadian ladies down here too to your event. Yes.
So I've had a couple of Canadian ladies reach out to me that are really wanting to make the event, like come down, ask me about it. You know, everybody will say, yeah, I'm going to be at that event. And then life happens, of course. So you cannot count on everybody being there that says they're going to be there, but I have had a couple of Canadian ladies. Hopefully they make it out. Definitely look forward to meeting them.
Hey, hey, hey!
Hey.
What's up? It's a party on a Friday. What's going on, Annie?
Hey, buddy. What up, dude? Sarah?
Hey, hey. So it's a good old party, and obviously we're talking about the announcement. Hopefully that works out. And I just had Sarah take the floor and just take over about what possibly could happen. Now that you're on the show, by all means, what do you think about the news? If all goes well.
I think it's awesome. Sorry, a lot of dogs.
All right.
Oh my God. Hold on. Did not think they were gonna freak out. No, shh.
Well, they heard ArmTalk, so of course they might want to be on the show too, which I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
Guys, be quiet. So I think it's awesome that that is a possibility. I think WAF it's a great step in the right direction for the ladies, because I think that gives a lot of credibility to what Sarah is doing and what she's trying to do. And I think that shows that the tournament that she's putting on is important. And like I said, it just gives it a lot of validity to the tournament. And it's not just ladies. It's like, we're serious. We're there. We're going to show up. And, I think it's awesome.
Because, you ladies are serious. I mean, we talked about this last week. How many times have you seen, Le'Aaron kick some ass on the table against some of the dudes up there?
Right.
And I'm telling you right now, I've seen her in person, and, I've seen her on video, and I've never seen someone so intense. Well, I've seen Angie Rose intense, but I've seen just people intense. Like, you don't get that a lot. And when she's serious, she's like real, real serious. So, seeing that in person, it just made like, okay, this is a real competitor. How do you not get behind someone like that? It's just hard. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, maybe what if, and I'm kind of like putting the cart before the horse, Sarah, what if one of these years you'd be like, hey, Canada, give me 5 ladies.
Yes.
I'll give you 5 ladies from here. You come to Texas, we'll make it happen.
I'm down for that. I think it'd be awesome. Canada versus US. It'd be a lot of fun. It's just something to look at in the future. I'm open to ideas and suggestions and making it better, and we'll just see what happens. This WAF is kind of the next step that I feel is going to open up a lot of opportunities for the ladies, and hopefully get more of the ladies together. And guys, hopefully get the ladies together and just arm wrestle, do what we love to do.
Well, yeah, and like I said, I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, I love this sport so much, but we have to offer it to everybody, Yeah. I mean, because there are some, I'll go a step further. There are some matches with the ladies that are so technical. And, if I have somebody coming into, my team that wants to sit there and pull, I'll be like, you know what? I'd watch some of these ladies matches because they're so technical. They're not out of control, doing all this crazy stuff, and because we just, us guys, like to do that kind of stuff. But, to have these ladies do it, I mean, to a T, they're like this. You don't see too many ladies like that. You don't. You just don't, right? So to sit there and see them tied, and when they go this way, their whole body goes that way. You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It does. Hey, Annie's got the best technique in the game. I'm telling you. Everybody can learn a lot from her.
This is true. Annie, you and I know each other for a long time now.
Yeah.
She's not wrong. She's not wrong.
I told you.
I think the reason why ladies are so technical is that when I first started, there's such a big gap between weight and like I know that a lot of women that I pulled when I first started, they were a lot stronger than me, but because I knew technically how to arm wrestle better, I was able to get in a position where I knew I was more comfortable and could, out move them or be smarter on the table than them. And that's how I won. And I think that for me, at least, that's why us and my two coaches are, geniuses in that thing. I think that's another reason why. But I think that I had to compensate with my technical ability because I didn't have that power to back it up. And it seems it might be kind of the same situation.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, and take, I'll take myself in this conversation where I'm never going to be the strong guy in my weight class. So I got to rely on, hey, you know what? I better make sure my technique's on point, because if it's not, I'm going to get annihilated.
Yeah.
So I mean, it happens like that, So sometimes we got to rely. There are some ladies out there who have just by nature a strong hand, or by nature a longer arm. And that's something, either you have or you don't. So you got to figure out, okay, what do I have that benefits me, and work on that. You know what I mean? 'Cause I mean, I wish I had a big hand like John Brzenk, but I don't. I wish I had the raw power of Cody Merritt, but I don't. So I have to find out what works best for me. Well, guess what? It doesn't change for you ladies also,
What about you, Sarah? What do you think?
What do I think about what?
Technical ability and the ladies and all that.
I think the technique is important, but I think you're absolutely right that the technique can overcome someone's strength. You can be the strongest person, but if you're not doing it right, someone that is more technical, they can beat you.
Yeah.
So when are we going to see Andy back on the table?
Oh, yeah, I've been on her about.
I don't know, man.
East versus West. Let's go to Houston, Annie. Go to Houston with me.
When is that?
Did you hear me?
No.
February 18th. Let's go to Houston. East versus West.
February.
Oh, is that the qualifier?
That's a what?
Is that the East versus West qualifier?
Yes.
Who's putting that on?
CAL.
Okay. All right. See, and that's how you kick off 2023, ladies. Okay. Now, again, what's good? England's got qualifiers now. So now it's like, wait. So we got the East versus West. We got lady qualifiers. We got the ladies tournament. Hopefully, if knock on wood, we got the WAF qualifiers. So things are looking up. It's just we all got to sit there and just be patient and communicate. And I think we can make this thing happen. Do y'all agree or disagree?
I agree.
Yeah. And what's crazy is I was going to mention this at the all ladies tournament the first year. I met Jolene and I was like, oh, how long have you been pulling? And she was like, oh, 20, whatever. I was like, what? I'm not trying to say anything, but I had no idea who she was. And she had no idea who I was. And yet we have been pulling forever. And I just thought it was so crazy that her and I didn't know who each other were. Because either I never pulled in her area or she never came and pulled in my area. And so it made me kind of mad. But I was just like, because there are so many. There's so many like that. At least that's how it seems. And I'm like, how did I not ever hear about this beast?
We're just having a big old party today, aren't we? Stephanie, what's up?
Hello. Hold on. I'm trying to turn my iPad off.
Well, and go back to what Annie was saying.
This is so weird. I don't know how to put my face on here.
Oh, there you go. Keep it right there. That works. That way you don't go sideways,
I know. Like what?
But
if it's sideways, I'll look skinnier. Like I don't have a good angle in here.
Oh, we got more and more people. We're just having a big old party, aren't we? Hey.
What's up, guys?
What is up? Man, this is how you do ArmTalk to kick off 2023. You know what I mean? So I'm telling you right now, this is what it's all about. So
let's see if I can. I may just have to hold it. I can only be on for a little bit, but
That's
I just
cool.
thought I
We'll
would
get
come
you
on
caught
and
up.
say hi.
So, Latona, Stephanie, welcome to the show. What Annie was talking about was the fact that how long has she been in the sport? And she ran into Jolene, and Jolene's like, I've been pulling for 20 plus years,
Like
whatever.
20 years.
Yeah, and it's crazy because of the fact that how does someone pull for that long and not know another person who's pulled just almost as long?
Yeah.
This is what we're talking about. Communication. By all means,
Oh,
ladies,
definitely.
jump in. Let us know what y'all think. How can we make this thing better? Somebody go.
I think Sarah's doing a great job.
Yeah, Sarah did a great job by making that
Thank you.
and we're all able to kind of like you said, communicate and talk about like which tournaments we like to do, or even posting on Facebook and like friends with each other. Like, I'm gonna go here, who's gonna go there, and that's helpful for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
So what do you, Stephanie, question for you. Now, you were known as the power lifter, and now you cross over to our sport. You've been doing arm for a few years now. Do you notice any difference? Do you think there's more ladies gravitating to arm wrestling for your neck of the woods?
Well, Camille, she quit powerlifting and she's arm wrestling now instead.
She's also doing strict curl as well.
For sure.
She's a beast.
Yeah, that's so exciting. Sarah Latono, aren't you gonna do strict curl?
I was gonna do the Olympia strict curl, but I was just way too sore from Monster Factory and doing the after pulling with everybody. That was more important to me at the time. So, yeah. But yeah, I want to do the strict curl for Olympia this year.
I really wanted to go, except I dropped a 242-pound bench on my chest and it hit my rib cage, and I wasn't recovering fast enough. I couldn't go.
When did Stephanie?
Huh?
When did it happen?
November, mid-November.
Yeah.
It's on Facebook. I want to see it.
Yeah. Yeah. I hate this camera. I can't figure out where to put it on my face. Like,
well, since I got all you ladies on here, I'm assuming y'all be in Texas come April, yes?
Yes, I'm figuring out with my job, but yeah, I want to be there for sure.
Okay. Stephanie, you going to be there? All ladies event?
I don't know how ready I'm going to be, but I'm going to be there.
Annie?
Annie.
And I say that. Yes, I didn't mean to say it like that. Sorry, but I just had to go. Annie, come on. It's the new year, and I know you mentioned on the show last week about trying to make a comeback and getting back into it. Yeah. I'm hopefully you'll do an event before that, but because of this topic and what Sarah's trying to do, that hey, let's show each other support. And before all you ladies got on there, we were kind of chatting about communication. And then I think on the show I mentioned, what if we had some big boardroom and say, you know what? I'm gonna just start sending the link to everybody. Come on in here, chime in here, give us your ideas. We can make this thing go.
Sorry, Sarah, we took over your interview.
We didn't hear what you said, dude. Say it again.
I said that's fine. I absolutely love it. More of this.
Yeah. No, I figured, this is something I just say, you know what? We got ladies commenting in the chat. Why not invite them? So I was just throwing stuff out there. Here's a link. Here's a link. Here's a link. If you can do it, come on and let's just have a big old conference call, so to speak.
Big old party.
Yeah. We don't do take twos on ArmTalk. We go live. It's we make a mistake, we just keep rolling. That's how we do that. So
yeah. And that's why we like ArmTalk.
Yeah. So
there you go. See, man.
I was gonna say earlier, Sarah asked me to. Sarah, you saying you wanna pull me because we're gonna be in the same weight class, bro?
Wait, what? Me? Which Sarah are you talking to?
Sarah Collins.
Oh.
over here.
Yes. Here we go.
Did you say I pull you?
I mean, if I go to the tournament, we'll be in the same weight class.
Yes.
Let's go.
Oh, I'm so excited.
This is what you get on ArmTalk. People come on the show making matches, impromptu matches. This is what it's all about. And by the way, Latona,
What?
who may be in line for a Monster Factory Ladies title. So tentatively May 6th is the next one.
Nice.
We'll see. We'll see. We'll see.
We'll see. We'll see, which I kind of know what's going on for this one and the next one, but
Wow.
I'm also not allowed to say anything. So
I get it.
I'm gonna let the Todds do their thing, but I do know about this coming one and the next one.
And just on that, since we're keeping secrets,
I am Sarah.
Miss Latona. Okay, go ahead. Here's the thing. Sarah Collins, and he's going to throw down. Are you talking about a super match or just the actual meet a tournament?
No, just tournament.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
You're welcome.
Stephanie.
Sorry, guys, I'm working.
Oh, that's all right. They can come on the show too. It's all right. So Stephanie, now that you're, how are you? Far are your injuries? I mean, are you getting better now? How are we doing about this?
I was going to start back this week powerlifting again with very light weights. I'm going to start back on Monday.
Okay. Now,
I've been doing like the gym bro workouts with the kids. Yeah.
And you, because you lift a lot of weight, a lot of heavy weight, at some point, and what makes me cringe is that, okay, don't get hurt. Don't get hurt. Don't get hurt. And that's what I say to myself when I see some of your posts on Instagram. Don't get hurt. Don't get hurt. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, when I started arm wrestling, I stopped using wrist wraps for bench press because I wanted my wrist to get stronger. And the day of the meet, I just felt so strong. And for my third attempt, I'm like, put 242 because that's what I got last time. And I was halfway down and I dropped it on myself. And then I put wrist wraps on and waited like 10 minutes and retried it. And I didn't get it. But if I would have had wrist wraps on in the first place, it wouldn't have happened because I lost it. My wrist bent back and I dropped the bar.
Well, funny how you used to say that because Mr. John Campbell said once Stephanie's wrist catches up, everybody's in trouble.
Oh, no.
Because, hey, there was something to be said about that because, Stephanie, what was it, 2021? And there's a few events that you and I were at to say, you're strong. I mean, left hand, you're dominant. If for some reason we can fix this right here, the wrist portion of that,
yeah,
what John is saying is pretty accurate.
I know.
I like to see you against Elizabeth.
I pulled her.
No, in the super match, not just in the. I want to. Yes, I want to see you two go at it.
I really need to work on my endurance.
Okay.
Because I've been on the table a couple of times. I really like to get on the table with Cora because she's just as strong as me, but she doesn't have any hand tricks. So we can do holds and all kinds of stuff without. Everybody loves to do their hand tricks and take your wrist, but she doesn't. So we can do a few things, but she's not an arm wrestler and she's not into it. She just, or get in the strap. I like to get in the strap with some, when a new skinny guy comes to practice and you can just beat him and he makes it really fun. I get in the strap with him.
What's hand tricks? What is that?
Anything that takes your hand.
So like arm wrestling?
Yes, I was arm wrestling with a new person who's not taking my hand.
Oh, you mean technique? Oh, okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, here, I got a question for you three, and we'll go with Sarah first. Do you think when you have a lady come over from a different sport, I'll ask Sarah first, then Annie, then Stephanie, you can answer because you are that person. Do you think when you have a lady come over from a different sport in the arm wrestling that their training might be a little different now because they train for this sport, now they're coming to that sport, the training may not be the same? Do you agree or disagree? What are your thoughts? Sarah, you go first.
The training for arm wrestling?
Right.
So they come from like powerlifting, they're already strong, the training needs.
Yes.
I think start with the base. I wouldn't have arm wrestling, obviously, sport, but time anybody start with the techniques and you go. I think you teach them the same as you would somebody brand new.
Right, you're kind of breaking up there a little bit.
Sorry, guys.
We didn't hear you, Sarah. Cut out.
Yeah, it's still cutting out.
Okay, what did you hear?
Nothing.
We heard about the technique in and out about
Nothing.
Yeah. let's start over. So Sarah Latona, welcome back to the show. The question
Sorry,
is,
guys.
when you have a lady come over from a different sport, such as powerlifting, and they come to our sport and arm wrestling, the training may be different. Do you think it's a good thing, a bad thing, or how do you think that takes place? And so I asked Sarah Collins to go first, and she kept breaking up here and there. So, Sarah, did you hear that question?
I did. Can you hear me?
It kind of goes in and out a little bit.
Okay, I'm going to leave, and then I'm going to...
Yeah, leave and come back.
Okay, one moment.
All right. It happens. Annie, you go ahead and chime in. What do you think?
I don't think it's necessarily bad per se, but I mean, definitely different. I think it's sometimes hard for one to translate their table and with technique, with proper technique. Obviously you have to train and maybe like a little bit different for certain specific things, arm wrestling, but I don't think it's as easy if you're super strong in the gym that you're super strong on the table. Sometimes those don't click and it takes a minute, but eventually if the person gets it, then I think that's beneficial. Yeah.
There we go. Hey, Sarah Collins, you back now? Yes.
I can hear me.
There's a lot of click clacking going on. What is it?
Yeah, that's worse.
Can't hear it. That's worse.
Click clack.
So while Sarah Collins gets that figured out, that question goes to Miss Sarah Latona, Miss Lightning. Sure. What do you think?
So for me personally, I actually do train SBD as well.
Right.
So the only thing I can say when it comes to somebody coming from a powerlifting background into arm wrestling, they're not as fluid on the table.
Right.
They're very static. They think that everything is just power instead of, not power, because power is strength, timing, speed, everything like that. They use more of their strength rather than technique. So most of the time, it's them just pushing through it. Instead of learning technique, going through everything, and learning the fluidity of arm wrestling.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand that a lot of times when you see people that are really good at learning arm wrestling, really quick, really fast at doing things, the funny thing is most of the time they're good dancers.
Right.
Because they're... Are you a dancer, Annie?
No, I have rhythm.
There you go. But you get what I'm saying, though. Yeah. It's the ability to get your muscles to react together. Get your muscles to react to a movement together. So there's a fine line between using your strength on the table from the gym and just powering through it because you're strong.
Right.
There's a fine line between that. So once, like Annie said, once they figure out those movements, the fluidity of arm wrestling, they can be a powerhouse in this sport because they already have that strength background. Because now you're seeing arm wrestlers that have only arm wrestled going back to the gym.
Right.
They have the technique. They have everything on the table. They've got the table IQ. Once you have that, you start building your strength. You're going to be a powerhouse in this sport.
So Stephanie, you are a power lifter and you still do the cross sport thing. And you tell us, because you just said that, okay, for me not to get hurt, I have to use these wrist wraps. Whereas an arm wrestler, when we train, we don't use any of that wrist wrap stuff. We want our wrist to be strong and not use that as like a crutch, if I could say that. But you tell us what your experience is, because you still do compete here and there in arm wrestling, but we know your first love is powerlifting. Can you shed some light on this, and what do you think about all this?
Well, arm wrestling definitely takes away from powerlifting. Like I went to practice, then my shoulder hurt, and then I went back to bench, and I had to stop benching and do other accessories because it's hurting me. Like it hurts. The arm wrestling hurts the powerlifting. But when it comes to arm wrestling training, I never trained any. I mean, every once in a while I'd go in the gym with Kyle and I'd do some arm wrestling specific lifts, but I just really did all my powerlifting, and then I went to practice and did table time and learned my technique from there. So it wasn't like I just, a lot of people worked on all of their wrist wrench things and all that stuff, but I never did. And maybe it was because I felt like I had only so much time in each day to do everything, and I felt like practice was enough as long as I made it to practice at least once a week. And sometimes people, we have twice a week practices available, but like if I went at least once a week, then I was going to get better at everything.
Right.
That was my thought. So I know that a lot of the people who do arm wrestling only, they focus completely on that, and they're doing all their lifts in the gym that are focused towards arm wrestling. So maybe it wasn't like I was being lazy. I just was doing both.
Right.
And I knew that if I added the other lifts in, that I was going to get a lot better. And then everybody has, and that obviously I never did anything specifically to work on my wrist. And so it always
Is that
went.
Sarah training?
Sorry.
Sarah, are you training over there?
Sorry. I do it every hour. I can't not do it. I'm sorry, guys.
No, that's all right. That's all right. That's all right. No, we got that.
Sorry.
And I like what Stephanie had to say about the training aspect. The one thing I was going to say, and I kind of feel bad, and this is for all you ladies, but Sarah Collins, where, I know sometimes you and I talked about this over and over, that you would have more ladies in your neck of the woods to train with. And sometimes you have to travel far and beyond just to get a good practice. Do you still struggle with that?
I do. Go to Oklahoma to Ian Brook. That's like a 4-hour drive, I think, 4.5 hours.
Right.
Well, Sarah, if you want to have another all ladies practice, I'd love to come out.
I'm thinking about it. I'm planning on doing again. Kind of a lot happens.
Don't leave me out of the loop so I can get off my butt and come do something.
Now, when you had that the first time, Sarah, that was an awesome thing. And now that we got more ladies into the sport, maybe that could be a thing where, hey, all ladies, huge practice. This is what I see. I see, aside from your tournament, I see the ladies getting together, right? You're at a practice or you're at the event in April, and you girls are talking shop. However, once that's all said and done, we all know, just like the guys, there's going to be some after pulling. Cool. If Angie Rose is there, if Le'Aaron's there and everybody in this chat and everybody else is in there, there's going to be some stories to be talking about. There's going to be some technique, everyone exchanging information about training and all that kind of stuff. And that would be great. Do you think that might be something you might be interested in? Yes.
I think it'd be good to have this, and that's kind of what I'm looking at trying. But 20, we'll kind of put that on.
What about? Is that me? Hello? Oh, Who's interested in doing a podcast show? Let me put that out there.
So I actually talked to Annie about it. I think I'm going to start one where I talk to women of sports. So because most of the podcasts, especially for arm wrestling, mostly talk to guys. Yeah. And I get it. I understand because there's only a few of us women, but we're everywhere. So
yeah.
I mean, there's more of us than people know. Like I was talking to Corey Miller the other day, and if you look at airs, like there's a lot of women that people don't know about.
Mm-hmm. Hi,
sweetie. So for me, yeah, definitely Jamie. I saw your message. So I do want to start one that's for women.
This is what he had right here, just in case y'all want to see what he was talking about. You know, there's also that I like, and maybe, you know, hey, Jamie Shelton could, hey, you know what? All these event, hey, I'm not trying to tell Jamie what to do, but hey, maybe NapFit can help out or something like that. That will get things up. You know,
I love that protein.
Yeah. I mean,
like
just to throw stuff out there.
I'm sponsored by Allmax, but I do love NapFit as well. It's some of the best flavored protein out there. It's
How many people are you sponsored by?
Technically 3.
Well, that just made me super jealous.
But you got to put your name out there. You got to email companies. You got to tell them about the sport, because a lot of supplement companies don't know about arm wrestling, and they don't know that arm wrestlers use supplements. Like, we're athletes.
Yeah,
we're not just sitting around.
Right.
Like, and a lot of them are like, they have no idea that it's that it is a professional sport. They have no idea. So most companies, when I tell them, they're like, wait, arm wrestling's a sport? I'm like, where? It's one of my biggest pet peeves when people are like that. But you just got to put your name out there. The least the least thing they can say is no.
Yeah.
Right.
I was sponsored by a little sandwich company here in Texas when I first started. And the way that it was, if whoever bought cookies, I would get a percentage. So
hey, that's great.
It was great,
but that's what mine is for Allmax.
It was so. My mom actually, she's like, "Help my daughter," and I was like, "Yay, I'm poor."
Yay, I'm poor.
Yeah.
Well, what's really cool about Allmax as well is they have this online program that they do with Instagram.
Nice.
So you sign up on Allmax, and either they choose you or they don't. But Jason and I get supplements every month from them.
Nice.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I was going to ask Sarah a question, but Sarah Collins had to run to go pick up her son from school. So the question I have for her is that what other kind of help should Sarah get for her All Ladies event? Because we know sponsors they can come and go. They can, hey, I got your back. And then like 15 days before the event, something happens and they drop out. So, what all can y'all do to help out with the ladies events?
Well, I did write in the comments, I wrote for her to get in contact with Rain, the company. Because here in Vegas, I have been talking to them, and they are thinking about, branching out with other sports. And I told them about arm wrestling. I've been talking to them for probably about 6 months now about the arm wrestling community and how big it's getting with social media and everything like that. So that could potentially be because every state has a representative from Ring.
Really?
Yeah.
Who the hell represents Oregon?
I don't know, but they have representatives there.
Wow.
Because obviously I'm drinking Rain right now. But they have one specifically for Nevada, like Southern Nevada. And that's who I spoke to earlier.
Nice.
I like that. As she's drinking, she got like 3 sponsors, and she gets to work out when she's at work. That's cool. You can't get no better than that, right?
No.
Mm-hmm.
So Stephanie, you tell us, what kind of sponsors have you had before in the past, and are you able to recapture those sponsors?
Hey,
I've never had a sponsor.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Ann.
I was just gonna say, thanks for having me on.
No.
You guys, thanks, Jody.
That's good. It was good to have you on there. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Bye, Annie.
All right. So, Stephanie, you said you had no sponsors before?
No, I've never had a sponsor.
Okay. Well, this is where, and now, because you would think somebody like yourself who's dual sports, right? 2 sports.
Yeah.
You go to lift meets, you go to arm wrestling tournaments. In some way, somehow, you would think, I got to get my name out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
I know. I can't even.
You just got to get your name out there.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just got to put your name out there. Don't be afraid for people to say no.
I think it's weird, though. It's like, hey, sponsor me. Because then you got to go, okay, what do I get in reserve? Or what do I get in return? Well, I can wear this shirt with your company's name on it. Would that be enough? I don't know. That's always been weird to me because it's just, I don't know. It feels weird. But then again, I mean, you've done it and you've struck gold in a sense, right?
Mm.
So I guess you got to go out and do it,
Yeah, the worst thing that they can say is we can't do it at this time. Or thank you so much for getting in contact with us, but we don't have athletes at this time. Or no. I mean, it's not. And that's the thing. Like, the reason that they took Jason and I, Allmax, is because of our Instagram, because of our videos we're putting out, because of what we're doing. So,
well, I mean, there's something to be said for that. I mean, that'd be like,
you just got to get yourself out there.
Yes, Stephanie, put yourself out there. Just say, hey, get a hold of Jamie Sheldon, and then y'all can have a conference call and then talk about whatever or something like that.
Oh, that's a good idea.
It's the least thing that anyone is going to say is no. And you go, okay, that's it.
Thanks for your time, that kind of thing. And
thank you so much for your time. I just wanted to put some feelers out.
And I've had one sponsor and I got shot down the other 2. So the one sponsor I used to have is no longer, Country Crush. Cool. I was the sponsored athlete. It was good. And then, Raymond Cody closed his doors. And so it's like, oh, okay. It was awesome to be a part of it, in 2020, but that was pretty much the end of that. Then some other places I went ahead and asked for sponsorship, and I got shot down. It's kind of like, you know what? I guess you could say I gave up, but at the same time, it's like, when you get shot down, you're hoping that, hey, this is what I can do. So now I got like a whole list of stuff on YouTube they can see of me, participating in tournaments. I can go ahead and run that to them, or I can email that to them or whatever. And if they're interested, cool. If they're not, I get that too. But I think because it's arm wrestling, we hate to hear no. We hate to get a letdown and things like that. Maybe that's why. I don't know. Maybe.
It could be that because I grew up as a performer, I'm okay with getting told no.
Right. There's a lot of crack. I know it ain't me. There's a lot of crack.
I know. I don't know if it's me or what. Because I've got my headphone in.
What about me? Does it make a crackle when I talk?
Okay, see, now it's gone. See that? Ah, damn it. Hope it ain't me. I'm trying to be my microphone. I don't know. Just okay. Go ahead, Sarah.
So the biggest thing is, I think it's just, I grew up as a performer. Maybe it's my mic that's crackling. I don't know. Can you still hear me if I take my headphone out?
Yeah, but it still crackles. I don't know if it's me or what. This is weird.
Yeah, I don't know.
But yeah, go ahead. We hear you though. Go ahead.
So for me, growing up as a performer, you're 95% of the time you're told no. And you go, okay, I can grow from that. You get notes in a show. You know that you can grow from that.
Right.
So just because somebody tells you no and they can't sponsor you at that time doesn't mean they can't sponsor you in the future.
Right.
So it's always good to put your name out. It's always good to get your name out there.
Not to mention, I think the business side of it too. Like, hey, maybe not now, but maybe down the road, maybe in about 4 to 6 months down the road, maybe we can revisit that. Maybe it could be something like that too.
Like, and the thing is, like, I'm just reading because I've got the 2 screens up.
Right.
I'm reading what Jamie said.
Yeah.
10% reads your stuff, 1% of that buys. So it's a fine line between being a promoter for an athlete and not, because as a business owner, you want to be able to get your items to someone that you know is going to sell it. So it's hard for me to explain that. But a lot of small businesses have a hard time doing that because of that.
Right.
Candy!
What up? Go!
Oh, the Georgia Bulldogs are in the house now.
Sorry, I was picking up the children,
Oh, no, we're just having a good old time here. It started with Sarah Collins, and you know what? To try to get the ladies on, get the ladies out there. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna just start sending links to everybody.
Yeah, you had it looking like the Brady Bunch almost there. It was almost the Brady Bunch thing.
Yes. I can look at Stephanie and go, right, Stephanie? That kind of thing, so.
Oh, wait, I'm doing the wrong
But no, we were before you got on, we were talking about sponsorship and what a person can do to get more sponsors and stuff like that. And, I really want to the ladies division to thrive, this year, because if you come off last year what the Monster Factory did, what Ingen did, and it's put more ladies out there. Even the fact that, hey, what about with the Brazink Cup, what Bob Brown did? And there were like 20 ladies that showed up. So you do that, kind of go, okay, if we take those 20 entries plus every other lady that did not make it and have them come to the all ladies event, then you got yourself something. But how do we do that? So that's why we're asking all the ladies what they think. So Candy, now that you're on the show, we're going to ask you, what do you think the lady division needs to make sure we get you on the map? Sarah's talking about having a podcast show. So do you have any ideas you want to share?
Yeah, I think the podcast, I think that's like the best idea I've heard in a long time. I think that's great. Now I know like Jody has always given the females places to talk on his this whole thing or whatever, which is great. But there's not a ladies one. There's really not. And so I think that's a great idea. I mean, we could give like cooking tips and like ways to beat your child and not get caught, things like that. So
I think that's a great idea.
Just share secrets, like, oh my God,
my first one.
Hey, my kids shit on the rug. How do we get that off? Like, that's a great, we can share more than just arm wrestling. It's women helping women by promoting women. That's pretty much what it is.
Well,
yeah,
if you guys didn't know, I'm also doing a fitness journey with Rebecca Todd. And it's the Fit Sisters Over 30.
Oh, well, I'm definitely in that category.
Yeah. So the biggest reason why we're doing that is a lot of women, when they get in their 30s, they're kind of like, whatever, I've got a family, I've got kids. You can still be fit, healthy, everything with kids.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean you can't train. That doesn't mean you can't think about your health. Yes, you're taking care of kids, but that's one of the biggest things why we want to do that.
Mm-hmm. I think it's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think it's also, you know, when you have kids and all that, you're involved in their sports and their life. And when you have husbands that arm wrestle, you're involved in their life and all of that. So, you know, it's trying to find a happy medium because, like you said, it's. I mean, we're women. We have. It's not that dads don't care about their kids or husbands or whatever. It's just our responsibility. I mean, that's what we do.
Yeah.
We kids, dogs, housework, making sure the bills are paid, whatever.
Yep.
Like, oh, make me an appointment. Okay, I got your appointment. You know, all this stuff that we kind of put. Well, me actually, like, I put it on the back burner because at the end of the day, I'm like, crap. I mean, it's time to go to bed now. I mean, I've had the whole day to work, run my business, take care of the kids, take care of the husband, take care of this, take care of that, and go get groceries, go do this. And at the end of the day, that's all there is. There's only 24 hours in a day.
Right. No, I totally get that, and I think if, with this podcast show kicking off for you ladies, I think that'd be awesome. You can have, Sarah could probably have a co-host, whatever. Do you think that would be a good idea, Stephanie? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah, that would be really fun. And Candy's going to make us laugh. If Candy comes on, I'll come on.
Look, I'm just hilarious. I know, I'm hilarious. Yeah.
But you need that icebreaker. Like, if you three had a show right now, right? And Sarah had her own channel, Candy would be the one that kind of says, okay, screw this. I'm making everybody laugh. We're going to do A, B, C, and D. Sarah's going to make everybody feel better. Stephanie's going to be like, Sarah's going to be like, okay, let's think about this. Stephanie's going to be like, nah, we're going to do this and do this and do that. That would be comedy at its best.
So, Candy, my husband just called. That's why I got. But I wanted to say, when you were saying, how the women, not that the men don't care about their kids or anything like that. I was raised Southern.
Mm-hmm.
So,
in the South, girl, in the South, yes.
Yeah. So I was raised at a very young age to cook, clean, take care of the husband. If I have kids, take care of the kids. Yep. If I need to take care of the bills, I'm the one who figures it out. Yep. I was raised at a very, very young age to be a wife. Yep. And I know there are women out there right now that are like, oh, well, you're not for yourself and everything. I'm like, no. My husband.
It's just how I was raised. I'm old South, and I say it all the time. I am old South. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Old South.
That's how I was raised as well. Mm-hmm. My mom raised me to be a wife.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's what I was raised to do. Not saying I don't respect myself or anything like that. My husband, it's God, my husband, and then me. Mm-hmm. That's how it goes.
Yeah,
God,
it's true. Me. And when you have husbands with big personalities and all that, it's like, I'm not saying that I'm going to like literally kiss your feet and grovel at your feet and all this stuff. I'm just saying, like, you are the head of the household. Even though I run my own business, he makes the money to support our family, but I do everything else. Like, that's it. I mean, he works out, he eats, he shits, he showers, and that's his life. And I take care of everything else.
Wow, my shoulders got taken over.
Hey, Jody.
Hey, Jody. Hey,
right.
Jody.
It is okay. But no, I mean,
I'm happy to be in this sport, to be around people that support us, especially Jody, like shows like you, having like it's great to have people that actually support us. So thank you, Jody. I agree. Appreciate it.
Definitely agree.
Well, one of the reasons I want to do this because And I've had guys like Devin on my show, Devin Larrett. I've had Ron Bath on my show. You know, we all know what their story is, right? And so what I try to do is get people that maybe are not the household names, because how many interviews have you seen with John? How many interviews have you seen with Devin Larrett? A ton of them, right? So now I want to shed some light on the people who are actually trained just as hard as they do, right? And might not get the accolades, men, women,
Right.
whoever. And so that was one of my main things I want to do for 2023, and help the ladies out. But I really want to push this thing. I'm not going to do a tournament because Sarah does that, right?
Right.
When Tim does tournaments, he says, "Okay, all the ladies at my events pull for free." So there's something like
Which
that.
is
So I just want to make
amazing.
sure,
Mhm.
yeah, what can we do to make things better? So that's the only reason why I kind of want to do this. And I love the sport. I love to see the ladies involved too. That's why I just do what I do. You know what I mean? So I just want to. How can I help? You know, that's basically where I'm coming from. What can I do to help out? You know what I mean?
I think the biggest thing is, like Jamie Sheldon said, a little bit higher up. It's just has to grow.
Yeah.
There's not really much we can do. The same thing that happened with UFC. It takes time.
Yep.
So, I mean, women didn't come into the UFC for many, 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 many years. So the fact that women are already, not saying that arm wrestling just started, but because of social media, people think
Right.
that arm wrestling just started. So I think what's going to happen is we just need more women to be on social media. It's a big thing. Like Jamie Sheldon said, you have to look at women arm wrestling as a small business. It has to grow organically. It has to be in social media, and a lot of women don't post that much.
Right.
So if they want this sport to grow, they have to post. It's the same thing. If we want more women to come to tournaments, we have to go. It's the same thing. You can't be lazy about it. The men are not lazy about posting that they are arm wrestlers.
Oh yeah, I know.
We just have to get women more proud of being arm wrestlers. Not fans of arm wrestling, arm wrestlers.
Yeah.
We have to get more women arm wrestlers proud of it.
I agree.
And Bree Susan Black, I know there's some kind of noise that's annoying right now. I don't know what the hell it is, but I try to ignore it.
I know, I'm trying to
I don't know
ignore
where
it
it's
as
coming
well.
from, but we just kind of keep going and stuff. But no, you're right, Sarah. We got to get out there and just post. I don't know. There's some ladies who don't like to post. I mean, as far as with fitness goes, there's only a handful. Unless you're doing that TikTok and doing all that duck lip eyelash bullshit, fine, whatever. But you know, as far as our sport, there's not enough of us that do that. And so maybe it takes, you know, hey, I follow Stephanie on Instagram. I follow Sarah Latone on Instagram.
Yep.
Annie, Sarah Collins. I follow all y'all on Instagram and stuff because it's the arm wrestling family, you know. And Candy, you know, I follow you. If it ain't about Paul, it's about the boys. If it ain't about the boys, it's about, hey, just random stuff. I get all that. And you know, when tournaments come up, it's like, hey, let's get out there and make it happen, you know?
Yeah. But again, it's gonna take time. It's gonna take time. It's not gonna be an overnight thing.
Rome wasn't built in a day.
Right.
Yeah.
So, like I said, I will do my part and keep doing this show. But you know what though? If Sarah's gonna do her own show, I don't want to step on y'all's toes either. You know what I mean?
No, the more the merrier. The more the merrier.
Because now
we need as many women in social media as possible. If we want it to grow, we have to do that.
Because I might have to reach out. You should, the next time I got the ladies on my show. Oh, I got something in store for y'all. So I got it.
I think we should all have a night of arm wrestling and drinking at Candy's house.
Yeah.
Because that's where it's at. She is the funnest ever. Like, we won't stop laughing all night.
Oh, can you
And
imagine?
I have 2 karaoke microphones now too,
Yeah,
not
yeah,
just
let's
one.
go.
There it is. There it is.
The funny thing is, I hate karaoke.
Oh my God!
Um,
I'm
But you were a
awful at it.
dancer.
I'm
the
awful
biggest
at
Oh,
it,
reason
but
why
I love
Sing
it.
next to
Like,
me.
I don't care
it's
how
not
awful I am.
it's not that I hate it, but I used to get paid to sing.
Oh,
So for me, I'm like, y'all want me
Jody
to sing
is so
karaoke?
Back in the
Jason's the same way. Jason's the same way. People are like, "Oh, Jason, get on the mic. You used to sing." He's like, "Yeah, but I got paid to sing.
hmm
There's a difference. I don't just sing for fun."
well, Daniel, my oldest, he hates it. Like, he'll hide the microphones. So, like, I thought that, like, the one was missing, but he hid it. So I had ordered another one. And so then I found it where he hid it. And I was like, but now I have 2.
Yes.
There it is. Oh, if y'all do
Now we
that,
can
I'm
do
like,
duets.
man, it'll never be the same again.
hmm
Yeah.
I can
Well,
kill
ladies,
some Dixie Chicks. I slay some Dixie Chicks.
Woo! I love Dixie Chicks.
That's my go-to.
Yes.
so Candy, tell me one thing. What you got going on for 2023? I mean, as far as
Well, I had brought up that I wanted to pull Elizabeth, and I did speak with her today, and it's just not gonna pan out anytime soon. She's got 2 tournaments she's already agreed to. I'll be in Alabama State on February 18th. I'm definitely going to that one. We go to that one every year.
Yeah,
And
girl.
so we were going to try to see if we could make that happen, but she's got 2 tournaments right before that. And she said, what about like the Winter Fest in New York? And I was like, yeah, I don't do that, go that way, whatever. Like, so we're just trying to figure out, a tournament that wouldn't be so far for her to go and so far for me to go, and just kind of keep each other on radars. Like, we
right.
just both of us were just like, well, I mean, I guess it'll just happen when it happens. I mean, it's not going to be it's not going to be something we can just plan, because it's just logistically, and she's only been doing it for a year. That's what she said, and all that. It's kind of like, I said, well, I'm not the one that's like, oh my God, I'm after Elizabeth, I have to have Elizabeth, like, oh my God. It's not even like that. I just threw it out there, interest, and she agrees. I said, just, keep me in your back pocket. If you get asked by a promoter to come and they say, hey, I want to give you a super match, throw my name out there. Like, I'd be glad to pull you, whatever. But it's hard for me to compete during school year, because like there's nobody to get my kids. Like, there's nobody.
Right.
And so if we were to go, let's just say I went to Texas. Well, the last time we went to Texas, it was a paid trip because we both had super matches. Like, we would have to bring my kids. Like, I can't bring my kids to, pay for them to go to Texas, all this stuff. Like, it's just becoming harder for me and Paul to travel now. Like, we have to stay where we're, 6-hour drive tops. Like, if it's more than that, like, Mississippi's pushing it for us. But we always go to Alabama. It's a good tournament. It's just, I just take it in strides. I don't really know what else is coming around. I think I heard something about maybe something in North Carolina, maybe. I don't know. I've kind of been off the radar for a little while. I just, I had to work, and my business got busy, and then the kids, and then Daniel broke his arm, and then it's just been one thing after another. So, but I'm wanting to get back into it. We have a practice next Saturday. No, next Saturday we have a practice here. It'll be a big one. So, I'm sure, I think, and Ron and Angie will be here, and then whoever else. I think Glenn Brooks and Michael Nance are coming too. I think Paul said that they were going to try to come too. So it should be a good turnout. He said somebody else is coming too. We always post videos and I go live, so everybody will get to see everybody.
The Drew said more media and documentaries showing arm wrestling couples too would be a good exposure too. Shows how it brings them even closer and happier too. You know what?
So
good point. Good point.
So speaking of that, Jason and I actually got interviewed by a woman that came from New York. She is a broadcaster for a German news channel. So she actually interviewed Jason and I. It was specifically supposed to be for her getting like massage therapy done and everything like that here in Vegas from a really famous massage therapist here. And she was like, hey, do you have any athletes that have like certain sports, like really cool sports that we could interview as well? And he was like, yeah, I've got one of my first clients here in Vegas is Jason. He's an arm wrestler. She was like, well, that's awesome. So they went through the whole thing of him getting treatment done. And then she came to the gym and they did a whole interview on us. And apparently they want to do a whole documentary on just me and Jason.
That'd be cool.
Which is awesome. And I agree. I think showing more couples in the sport as well can make it grow too.
I like that.
100%.
I like that.
100%. I agree with that.
Well, that's, me and Paul joke all the time, actually. Like, he'll play his videos, like, that I take of him arm wrestling, and you can hear my mouth in the back. Come on, Paul! All this stuff. And it's like, that's what I'm known for. And, he's like,
voice.
it's not.
I knew about your voice before.
He's like, it's not even, like, it's not a good video unless you can hear you in it. Like, nobody wants to watch it unless they can hear you in it. And I'm like, I know. But I'm known for it. And then when he pulled Jeff Dave, they were saying that, his wife Gina has a loud mouth too. She's known for hers. And he said, we're all wondering who's going to be louder, Candy or Gina.
You know what? You need to get a t-shirt that says #Come on Paul. That's what needs to happen.
Come on, Paul. I'm like, I hate watching your videos. I put them on mute because I cannot stand to hear me yelling.
You know what? And I was thinking too, what if, because this goes back to what Sarah was saying about a podcast show. How many ladies film ladies' matches and then put them on their YouTube channels?
No, that's true. And see, I don't
really
normally when, I'm sure there's a lot that can, go with me on this. I don't have a lot of videos of my matches only because I'm the one videoing Paul. And then most of the time, yes, he's too busy socializing. Oh, it's Paul Pastor. And I'm like, really? Like, did you not just see me pull? And he's like, babe, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And I'm like, really? But talk about me missing one of his matches? Oh, hell no. Like, baby on the hip, whatever. It don't matter. You got to film. That's your only job.
Is to film. Now. Paul, what are you doing? Oh, sorry, babe. I was talking with Tim McPherson. My bad.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry I missed that. And I'm like, whatever. So it's funny, but I'm his biggest fan. He's my biggest fan. I think the camaraderie, like we push each other. And that's what couples do, especially when you're couples in the sport. You ramp each other up, all that. That's just what it is. Now, if he were, he's always been involved in a sport, and people think that I only got in it because he did, which technically is right. But it was just, oh, well, this is actually fun. So then I started like really getting into it. And now I have separated myself. It's not, that's Paul Passmore's wife. It's Candy Passmore. Like, I actually have my own name now. I'm not Paul Passmore's wife.
Right. Well, the thing is though, and hey, the only reason why I brought that up because Stephanie, you used to be that person. You would feel, there are times where, I'm up here, and thank God Stephanie was there because one of my most favorite matches was longest one, the most, exciting match there was, took place last year in Oklahoma. And I was pulling, God, I forgot his name already. Greg Mayfield, and I was pulling him, and all of a sudden, Steffi was filming, and she airdropped it to me. I'm like, man, that was badass. It was just too long where I couldn't, because Instagram only allows you so much time, so I couldn't film it. I couldn't put it on there. But yeah, Steffi, I didn't even know she was filming. I get done, go to the scorers table because Stephanie is there, and I think Matt Craig's wife was there. I went to go tell them, hey, I won the match, yada yada yada. And then as I've come off the table, here's Stephanie. Hey, Jody, what do you think? And that kind of stuff. And that was pretty cool. And, and Stephanie was known for that kind of stuff, So just throwing it out there.
Sorry, I'm trying to get my kids ready. I'm going to go drop them off at a friend's house. So I'm going to jump off the camera, but I'm going to pay attention. I promise.
No, that's all right. That's all right. You know what? Honestly, because we've been on here for an hour and a half. So, I got some errands. Check you out. I got some errands I got to run too, but I just want to thank you three ladies. Annie was on there. It started with Sarah Collins on here. Candy said something about the Brady Bunch, and it was cool. It was fun, and I just want to sit there and go, yes, Stephanie, Brady Bunch, right? That kind of stuff. So, so it was awesome. So,
I always love coming on, Jody. So.
Yes. And Sarah, I did message you a message. Some things in the works. Check your phone. Some things in the works. So some things in the works.
I'll check it.
Check it. Then let me know what you think. But ladies, Candy, Stephanie, Sarah Collins, Annie, thanks y'all for joining for the show. I got some things I got to do, but enjoy your Friday and enjoy your weekend. And I will talk to y'all soon.
See you later, Jody.
Bye, ladies.
Thanks for inviting.
Bye, Jody.
All right.